What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Nick, as always, you can call me Tetris Ninja, and in today's video, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. Well, I personally think it's fun because I always find it enjoyable to try to make predictions, make bets, whether or not something is gonna win or not. So if you guys are unfamiliar, the nominees for the Game Awards came out a couple days ago, and the Game Awards is pretty much the big award show for the video game industry, occurring near the end of the season after all the major games have come out. And yeah, I find that doing these is useful because it gives me an idea of whether or not my personal beliefs and my opinions of what I think are important to video games is in tune with what the majority of the industry is saying. Even though with each passing year, I'm starting to feel that I get more and more out of tune out of everything, because I find that a lot of reviewers these days, they overthink it. They try to make more the trendy choice rather than the correct choice, the hipster decision, as I would like to describe it. Prime example, last year when I thought that Uncharted 4 got absolutely robbed for Game of the Year when Overwatch won it. I respect what Overwatch is, but if you break it down, it's a multiplayer game, and that's only one side of the equation when you talk about video games. So yeah, and a couple of years ago when the Video Game Awards was still under Spike's umbrella and The Walking Dead won, it's just didn't make any sense to me. I kind of like rolled my eyes at the video game industry. The Walking Dead Season 1 was a fantastic game, but there's still no way that it should have won Game of the Year. Once again, still those once again I chalk it down to reviewers trying to be trendy and hipsters and all that type of stuff. Maybe I'm just getting old, maybe. But anyway, so we're gonna go through the nominees. Some of the stuff is basically above my pay grade, way above my head, and I have no idea. If I have some slight input into it, I will go over it. If I have no idea, then yeah, we'll just skip it. So we're gonna start backwards here because we want to finish the video off on what you guys came for, because that's what you want to do when you're trying to entertain people, finish off on the climax. So starting at the back end, we got Best Chinese Game. No idea what's going on there. Look at this list. I have no idea what I'm supposed to choose here. Best Debut Indie Game. I'm gonna give this one to Hollow Knight because I feel that even though Cuphead was a fantastic game, based on what I've read, Hollow Knight was more critically acclaimed. It had the highest Metacritic score, overall impressions. Best Esports Game, no idea what's going on there. Best Esports Player, no idea. I don't follow the esports scene at all. Best Esports Game. Although I don't follow esports, I'm gonna say that League of Legends will probably win it, just because based on my time on Twitch, League of Legends is still one of the top esports games being watched today, and they're still selling out stadiums for people to watch people play League of Legends in Asia, as well as some places in North America as well. The Trending Gamer Award, I actually have met a couple of these people. I am not following it exactly, but based on my times on Twitch, Dr. Disrespect seems to be a big personality. It's kind of funny though, because he is a character that actually... So if you're unfamiliar, Dr. Disrespect is his character, and Guy Beam is actually the actual person. And when I started my channel, I was primarily playing Call of Duty, and Dr. Disrespect was kind of like one of the big guys on the scene at the time. And then his character kind of disappeared because the actual person, Guy Beam, he took a community manager role at, I think, like Sledgehammer Games. I can't remember which Call of Duty studio, but he became a community manager for a Call of Duty franchise. And then he pretty much quit his job, and then just basically streaming full time now as Dr. Disrespect. So not 100% sure, but I'm gonna take a guess and say Dr. Disrespect will win. Best Student Game, once again, I have no idea. Best Indie Game, I have played 2 of these. I should have played What Remains of Edith Finch, but based on my experiences, I'm gonna give it to Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I think that it was the most groundbreaking indie game out there. Most anticipated game presented by McAfee, that sponsorship money though. I looked over all these, and I'm gonna think, personally for myself, for me, my most anticipated game is The Last of Us Part 2. I'm gonna say though, based on the fact that these 2 games, or all 3 of these games, which is kind of... it gives you an idea how Sony is killing it, because 3 of these games are Sony exclusives. But the sheer fact that Red Dead Redemption is a multiplayer game and has a lot of hype behind it, I think that it will get votes from the Xbox crowd as well. So I'm going to vote that Red Dead Redemption is going to be your most anticipated game. Best multiplayer game, hands down, I think it's going to be PUBG. So since this is a good time, so basically PUBG is a game that's going to be announced or nominated for Game of the Year. My philosophy behind this is if you're nominated for Game of the Year, whatever category you're in, you should win that category because so long as there are no other Game of the Year contenders as well in that category as well. So there are no other categories in this nomination process that has any other Game of the Year contenders. And if you watch PUBG, you know that it's a primarily a multiplayer game. It is one of the most watched games on Twitch at the moment. It's pretty much it's a video game phenomenon at this moment. So I think hands down PUBG will win best multiplayer game. Best sports game, I'm not a huge person into sports game. If I were to make a blind guess, I'm gonna say FIFA 18 because FIFA has a huge following on social media, Twitter, and as well as YouTube. I am not 100% sure why 2K18 is on here because I haven't been following it closely because from what I hear, the game is like suffering from a lot of issues with microtransactions, so yeah. Best strategy game, I'm going to give it to Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle because I found that that was probably the most accessible and widely popular strategy game available. Maybe I'm wrong, but based on my experience. Best family game, once again, back to the philosophy, if it's nominated for Game of the Year, it should be winning its respective category. So Super Mario Odyssey is my vote for best family game. Best fighting game, I'm going to say Injustice 2, based on what I've followed. What I've played, Injustice 2 is definitely probably hands down my pick for best fighting game. Had good cinematics, had good story. The fighting combat itself was pretty rich. Moving on to best role-playing game, I'm gonna say Persona 5. Once again, that philosophy, if it's nominated for Game of the Year, it should win any other category it's in, so long as no other Game of the Year contenders are in there. This one, best action-adventure game, it gets a little bit tricky. So we're gonna rule out Uncharted: The Lost Legacy because it is not a full game. I'm gonna rule out Assassin's Creed Origins because even though that was a great game, it doesn't take a candle to any other of these games. So for me, it's either between Horizon Zero Dawn or The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. I think at the core of being an action-adventure game, Horizon Zero Dawn is a better action-adventure game. It suffers from the fact that the only reason why it suffers from the fact that it's not The Legend of Zelda. If you would have taken The Legend of Zelda, skinned it with Horizon Zero Dawn, you would have had like the best game of all time, basically, minus the dungeon stuff from The Legend of Zelda. But as an action-adventure game, as core, I personally think Horizon Zero Dawn is a better action-adventure game, but I would not be surprised if The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild wins best action-adventure game. All right, best action games. So I'm gonna vote this one to be Nioh because I played I played every single one of these games. I played Nioh for the first couple hours. It was balls hard. And I would say it's either gonna be between Nioh and Wolfenstein 2, but I think the main reason why people like Wolfenstein 2 was for the story and the cinematics rather than the actual gameplay itself. I'm gonna say in terms of action game, Nioh will probably win. Best VR AR game, I don't touch VR or AR, so I can't really give you guys an opinion. Best handheld games, I did not play any of these games at all, so I have no idea. Blind guess, Metroid Samus Returns, just because it's Metroid. No idea. The only game that I played was Super Mario Run, and that wasn't that great of a game, so I can't really give you guys an opinion on that. Moving on to best ongoing game. Once again, hands down, I think it's gonna be PUBG. Destiny 2 is just more Destiny. Yeah, PUBG will definitely win best ongoing game. Best games for impact, I'm gonna say it's gonna be between Life is Strange Before the Storm or Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. Impacting means that it has impact on society. That's what I gauge out of it. And I think Hellblade gives you kind of like a background look on what it means to suffer through psychosis and mental health. Mental health is a really hot topic in 2017. And personally, Life is Strange, it's not done yet. The final episode isn't done yet, so I don't know how you can actually even throw it on the list if you're not 100% sure how the story is gonna end. So, yeah. Best voice actor. It's kind of cool that they actually grouped the male and female role into this category this year. And all these actors did a fantastic job in their respective games. If I were to wager a guess, it's gonna probably between Melina from Hellblade or Ashley Birch from Horizon Zero Dawn. If you guys know me, you know that I am a huge Ashley Birch fan. I loved her role of Chloe during Life is Strange and her role as Aloy as well. It's a real shame that she couldn't reprise her role as Chloe in Before the Storm because of the voice actor strike. My personal vote will be for Ashley Birch, and I'm fairly confident she will win. But once again, going back to that whole hipster thing, I will not be surprised if Melina wins. But my guess, Ashley Birch for best performance. Best audio design. So all these games have fantastic audio design. The orchestrated score from Destiny 2 is second to none. You cannot play Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice and have the game impact the game as much without the audio. Resident Evil 7, fantastic background music, environment, and atmosphere. And in general, the score in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey were great as well. So my vote for this will be based on, if I were to take audio away from these games, what game would be impacted the most? And what game could not be as good of a game if it didn't have its audio? And in my personal opinion, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice would not be the game it would ended up being if it weren't for the audio design in it. The background music, the background talking at the back of your head, the sounds of you going crazy. I'm gonna vote for best audio design being Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Best score / music. I'm gonna vote between either Destiny 2 or Nier Automata. I'm gonna say Destiny 2 because the music in Destiny 2 was absolutely fantastic. But the reason why this game gets my vote is because it was completely different from Destiny 1. And it's a sad thing, but at the same time, it's also a great thing as well. Because if you guys aren't familiar, Marty O'Donnell, the composer or lead music person who has been working at Bungie for years now, pretty much got fired at the end of Destiny 1. It was a huge litigation, lawsuits of missed earnings and all that type of stuff. So even though he finished his work in Destiny 1, Destiny 2 had a completely different team working on the musical score. And you could tell it did not have that Bungie-esque feel, that Halo previous Destiny feel to it. And it was completely different. It was awesome, but it was just kind of made you sad and happy at the same time. But in terms of score, I would say Destiny 2 definitely had the best music. Best art direction. This one's tough. I can't be Destiny 2 because it is very similar to Destiny 1. Although the hipster vote would be Cuphead, I'm either in between Breath of the Wild or Horizon Zero Dawn. I think I think Horizon Zero Dawn had the most unique art direction from what I've seen out there. So my vote will be for Horizon Zero Dawn. Best narrative or story. I'm gonna say it's either I didn't like the story at all. Well, the story in Horizon Zero Dawn was passable. It was kind of convoluted, so I'm gonna say either Wolfenstein or Nier Automata. I'm gonna vote Nier Automata as best narrative winner because yeah, that's my choice. Best game direction. So innovation in direction and design. I'm gonna say it's gonna be, this is where I kind of diverge for my traditional thinking. If it's nominated for Game of the Year, it should win any respective category. I'm gonna say best game direction will probably go to Wolfenstein just because it's very cinematic. A lot of voice acting, a lot of kind of micromanaging of game direction, making sure everything worked together. I'm gonna say Wolfenstein 2 will win best game direction. And finally, the biggie, Game of the Year. So I played in depth 3 of these games. I only dabbled a little bit in Persona 5, and I respect what PUBG is. But anyways, okay, so let's just... I've already thought about this. I don't know why I'm kind of going on a tangent here. Alright, so enough pussyfooting around here. So my personal vote for Game of the Year 2017 is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You may be confused about that because I eventually gave Horizon Zero Dawn a better review score than I did Breath of the Wild. As a game as a whole, Horizon Zero Dawn is a better game in terms of technical aspects, gameplay, storytelling. It's a better game, but Breath of the Wild is just Legend of Zelda, and you get points for history and franchise. And personally, I'm a huge Zelda fan, so that's why it gets my personal vote for Game of the Year. But once again, that whole thing, voting being down to hipsters, games for impact, what has had the most impact on the video game industry this year, I would not be surprised if PUBG won. I would not want it to win, but I would not be surprised at all if PUBG ended up winning, even though it's not even fully released yet. Technically, it's still technically in beta mode. I think that there is a slight chance that people will overcomplicate it just as they did last year with Overwatch and make sure that it pulls ahead. In terms of real voting, I think it comes down to if you were to be a non-hipster, I would not be surprised if Super Mario Odyssey won, but my personal vote for Game of the Year is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So yeah, that is all the categories for the Game Awards. Those are my predictions, my hopes, my dreams, my expectations. 2017 has just been a fantastic year for video games, and based on the stuff that's coming out next year might even be better, as crazy as that sounds. So hopefully this video was fun for you guys. Let me know in the comment box below what you guys think of my thoughts, if I'm completely offside, if I have completely overlooked something in my reasoning or rationale. And as well, let me know what you guys think. List all your nominations and what you guys think is gonna win as well in the comment box below. I'll be sure to read them, check them out, see if we're kind of in line as a community of our thoughts. But on that, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. As always, have a fantastic day.